Grand Theft Auto is one of the most influential and highest grossing video games of all time. It has been praised for its immersive gameplay, iconic characters, and its contributions to pop culture. However, since its debut in 1997, GTA has been unable to escape controversy and has arguably become the principal exemplar of gender misrepresentation, specifically of women in video games. This video essay will explore the portrayal of women in Grand Theft Auto through NPC interactions, as well as the perpetuation of harmful stereotypes reinforced by the game's large player base. Academic research will be implemented to show how these betrayals are exacerbated and why this can be detrimental in a broader context. From an analytical perspective of game studies, representation is so much more than ticking off boxes. Characters representing different races, genders, or sexualities serve as portrayals of marginalized groups. It is these representations that can reinforce real world attitudes, in this case towards gender, because they depict characters and the roles assigned to them. The people who consume cultural texts, such as video games, are directly exposed to the representations placed before them. As Hutchinson writes, if I have invested 100 hours of my time playing GTA San Andreas, I have spent 100 hours submerged in its worldview, giving the audience time to absorb the cultural attitudes of the game designs. This potentially gives video game developers the power to reinforce real world attitudes towards gender by the way they choose to depict female characters and the roles they are given. With regard to female representation in Grand Theft Auto, the examples are striking. Currently, there have been no female playable protagonists in any of the games in the Grand Theft Auto series. It is typical of the GTA franchise to position female characters as objects of desire, mainly due to the over sexualization and objectification, usually of female NPCs, as almost all working female characters are some form of sex workers, such as strippers or prostitutes. In fact, the video game encourages femicide, as if the player murders the prostitute, he can get a refund for the money he spent on the services. Statistically, as of March 2025, 48% of video game users in the United Kingdom are female. So, why is it that video games still continue to perpetuate outdated traditional roles of female submission and promote violence towards these characters? Feminist media theory argues that gender norms are constructed, maintained, and reinforced. Essentially, video games are designed with hegemonic patterns, meaning that they attempt to appeal to male audiences by promoting traditional masculine traits, such as physical strength or dominance over others, in the case of GTA, over women. This therefore implies that the creators of GTA, Rockstar Studios, purposefully misrepresent female characters in their game to appease male audiences, thereby highlighting the economic opportunities that arise from the over sexualization of female characters. Due to the lack of playable female characters, it can most definitely be argued that females within the GTA franchise lack agency, as their inclusion in the series does not seem to shape the story, making them almost appear as unnecessary. Instead of being of great importance to the story, their value derives from their relation to the male protagonists. This is evidenced through characters such as Elsa McCallan, who falls for GTA 5 protagonist Franklin, Tanisha Jackson, Franklin's on and off girlfriend, and Amanda DeSanta, wife of protagonist Michael DeSanta and former stripper. These examples demonstrate that the representations of female characters in video games is reinforcing traditional gender roles. Therefore, it can be argued that games reaffirmed or reinscribed dominant and patriarchal conceptions of gender roles through their frequent dependence upon rescue plot structures with male heroes and female victims, or that they foster a culture which sees violence, especially violence directed against women, as acceptable. Something commonly overlooked in the representation of females in video games is how negative portrayals can affect how players see themselves. Stereotypes around the audiences of video games have led several female players to often question their legitimacy as gamers, due to questioning of their skill as a result of their gender. These negative representations have inadvertently led to the image of the female gamer, where the likes and dislikes of female gamers are assumed by others merely due to their gender. As Jenkins and Cassell claim, the sad thing is, with today's computer games markets overflowing with games created for girls, full of things like dolls, makeups, boys, and fashion, this kind of theory is common. So, what are the broader implications of the perpetuation of the misrepresentation of women in video games? This is a matter that goes beyond GTA and is an issue that a large number of video games account for, as games become an ever expanding and increasingly accessible medium in the 21st century. The implication is that if these beloved franchises consistently portray women in limited roles and have non playable female characters constantly succumb to stereotypes and gender roles, and they begin to shape their players' expectations of how genders are supposed to behave. Gender discrimination in video games has an impact on both self esteem and the image that girls and adolescents construct of themselves. When questioning when we can go from here, there are contemporary examples that demonstrate that the video game industry is actively promoting the inclusion of complex central female leads who avoid fetishization and are integral to the story, rather than included as a love interest to a male protagonist. Slowly, gender in gaming is more complex and often self determined. There have been a noticeable shift from pink or purple games to a more complex approach to gender as situated, constructed, and flexible. This demonstrates that although gradually, video games are progressing to reflect a more modern ideology that gender is not innate and uniform. Regarding GTA, they have attempted to address the issue of misrepresentation of women in their games by having their first central, non selectable female character in their newest title, GTA 6. As games become more influential in pop culture and academic research, such as feminist critique and cultural analysis of video games, we can hold developers accountable for the effects their representations can have on players and how they see the world. A correct characterization produces empathy, generates visibility, and creates references for the gaming community. In recent years, powerful video games have been released, inviting the creation of attractive and different narratives regarding the empowerment of women, different to those created by patriarchal beauty canons, such as GTA.